Yeah, just to continue on with the theme of how would you know if you have a narcissistic manager. So this will be part two. The first part went out there on the 26th on Thursday. So we ended with the manager can become quite aggressive with you, can be very dominating, intimidating, this kind of stuff. They will express that the rules do not apply to them. So the same rules that you're under will not apply to them. And as I mentioned, my experience was that they'd argue the fact that policies, they're not bound by policies, they're above policies because they're a manager. That's not exclusive to my situation. They actually do this and they really do believe this because they believe their own nonsense every day, all day. So the rules don't apply for them. And what they'll do is say something like if there's an option to work from home and you really need to work from home, they will go home and work from home and tell you that nobody can work from home. And you can then possibly present them with this, well, you're working from home. So I'm better than you. I'm a manager. I'm far superior than you. You can't question me. So it's that horrible place where they're making you really, really feel small and insignificant. And that's where they live. So they feel that they're entitled to more all the time. They're so superior that they're not bound by any structure or any rules, even though they are. They very really are. They're never wrong in their mind. So no matter what you show them, and I have come up against managers multiple times, narcissistic managers, and it's not that you never win. I've won. I have won. I've won again and again. But they will never let you win. They will never agree or admit that you've beaten them or you've won. So they continue on the same nonsense. So in your work, if you've seen someone taking a case for bullying or taking a case, so what's the point? That person always wins. They don't necessarily win. They just won't let themselves believe they lost. So they do tend to lose, and a lot of them can have their comeuppance, and they can, they can lose their job, they can be prosecuted. There's a lot of other stuff that can happen to these people, but because they keep a very tight gathering of monkeys, the flying monkeys, they'll use them to discredit you and shame you and embarrass you and basically bully you out of the job. So they're never wrong. And even if you've witnessed it, and I've done this multiple times. So let's say, for example, you've made a complaint, you've done your work, you've done something, you've sent it in writing, in let's say an email, for example. They will claim that you never sent it. They will actually argue with you that you never sent it, that you're imagining it, you're mad, this lovely gaslighting thing that they love to do, that you're insane. If I got it, sure, wouldn't I know it? You're just imagining things. It's all in your head. That happened to me, so I went back and I checked my sent box, and there it was, date stamped on this. This was lovely about emails, date stamped in a sent box, and I was able to print off this is when it was sent, and they will come up with any kind of lies to get out of this, so that they don't. They're not. It's never ever going to be their fault. They didn't do anything wrong. So even evidence, they'll deny. These are the people. I'm telling you now. These are the people. When the building burns to the ground, they're the ones standing holding the match and the petrol, and saying, it wasn't me. I don't know. I didn't do it." That's how guilty these people are. They are going to burn the place to the ground. Um, yeah, they will make you feel crazy. So they'll always make you feel crazy, and they may even, go into the not only the gaslighting but the real threatening, intimidation, undermine you, tell you you're no good at your job anyway. You've never done it, and they've said, even though there's no truth to this, you've never done it, and you've said you're rubbish at the job, you're weak, you care more about your family than you do about the job. Which why wouldn't you? But they make that seem like a bad thing. That's the character. That's the manager. And they will always, always, always be the hero of every story to tell. They will never say, "Oh yeah, so Mary came in there and only for her, it was wonderful. We got the thing done because she came in." They will turn around and say, "Well, Mary came in and I was getting it done and she was interfering, but I managed to get it done. And eventually she jogged on and I got the thing done. It was up to me and I did it," when there's no truth in that. They'll always put themselves out to be the hero, and they'll tell everybody. These are the people, these are the people that will cause unbelievable chaos in every job. How will you know? These are the people that, if you're in a job where there's this, not the gentle, friendly kind of conversational talking about each other, because everybody does that, it's human. These are the really hurtful, backbiting lies. Such and such is sleeping with such and such, and these are things that kind of get out about people, this nasty, horrible stuff, and lies about you giving the wrong medication if you're in a medical profession, lies about you giving the wrong medication, lies about you stealing from the job, and they'll just keep doing this. So if there's that kind of chaos, then people fighting, so your friends will stand up for you and this kind of stuff, and you'll have the flying monkeys will be running with the stories, and the other people, maybe if they're strong enough, will turn around and say, well, that's simply not true because I was there, and there'll be this infighting and backbiting and backstabbing, a horrible environment. You walk in, these people are talking about me and it doesn't feel right. That's the environment that they create because they've nurtured the flying monkeys. They'll give the flying monkeys loads of love and loads of affection, loads of attention and all that stuff because the monkeys are going to give it back to them. The monkeys will believe that they're a great manager because they notice me, because they have their own needs, as I said, but they notice me. So if they notice me, they must be a nice manager. And then you say, well, that manager is very dangerous. Oh, how dare you say this? So, and then what happens is the manager is just loving this because they're feeding off all this chaos. They're just loving this and they're getting stronger from it. They're getting this power from it. So they will eventually take down the company. That's an absolute fact. And I'm waiting. I'm just sitting in the long grass here, lads, just watching these happening because they're going to tear the whole place down. And it's happening. I can see it. The walls are crumbling. They're not able to hold on. There's threats going left and right, which I love to see because then when they start to threaten you, you're on the right path. They will isolate you as an individual. So it's especially if you're a very strong person. If you're very strong and you're very if you believe very strongly in your ideals and stuff like that, and you're able to stand up to them, they will isolate you. They will crush you. They will get everyone against you, and you will be standing alone. And it takes quite a strong person to be standing alone when all this is. I've been in a situation where everyone turned against me, and I was even called into a meeting by a person and told that they think I was wrong, even though I had every bit of evidence to contrary. They believed I was wrong, which I found was really interesting. These managers are responsible for your toxic workplace, which you mentioned. We did a talk on the toxic workplace. The reason you have a toxic workplace is because of these managers. And my honest feeling is these people don't need to be in management. They need to be they did a good job to get there. Maybe they filled in all the boxes, they did the right colours and the lines and all this kind of stuff, and maybe they did a great job at a certain time. But if they're looked at now, if the upper management or whoever's over the whole thing actually look at the job they're doing now, I guarantee they will see that they're just out of their depth. They've reached as high as they can possibly get, and they can't get themselves out of this because there's nobody above them. Because if the person above them is a narcissist, they don't want them up there. They want to keep them as their flying monkey. They don't want them up high. They want to control them. This absolute control. So this person is as high as they're ever going to go. They're not getting the love they once got. They're in a position where they have to work for a living in a job that they're ill-equipped and ill-trained to do. And they're just in limbo here. They don't know what they're doing. So all they can do is bully and harass and make a really chaotic, toxic environment. So that's their job. And honestly, as an individual in this thing, if you're a good person and if you're a good worker and you're concerned about your mental health, these people are going to destroy your job. You're going to be at a stage where you started loving your job. Absolutely. I absolutely loved every second of what I did. I hated, when I say I hated my job so much, I just could not continue with it. So if you're the person that feels, well, I can't continue, my options are unemployment, I'm going to lose the house, I'm not going to be able to afford the kids' school, I'm not going to be able to, that's quite a bloody scary place to be putting people. But that's what's happening. The toxic manager, the narcissistic manager who creates the toxic environment is doing this to people on a daily basis because you're no longer feeding them. You're no longer part of the narcissistic supply, what the flying monkeys will give. They'll give all this love and attention and devotion to them. You're not in now. So they'll do two things, right? They'll try to absolutely hoover you back up, which they'll try to hoover you back up and get you in to do something else and maybe tell lies and, I'll give you this job and we'll try and arrange this for you. But when you're in, then they have you back again to the square one. Or they will completely isolate you and discredit you and make you seem like you're the worst person on the planet. And if someone was up the top with any intelligence to look and see, well, this person left, let's look at their file, they were grand, let's look at this person, they were grand. Why is this person gone? Okay, we never listen to them. All right, fair enough. Somebody somewhere has to take notice of what's happening, rather than just threatening people to stop going to social media and stop publicising the fact that these things are happening. It's really scary, lads. I feel you. But look, you're not alone. There's thousands upon thousands of us here that were in that situation and have been managed by the narcissistic manager in a toxic environment. It's not the end. I'll tell you how to deal with the toxic manager in a later video. Thanks for watching.